Hello friends, welcome to my channel back again. This session is on basics of web designing. So whether you are a complete beginner or might be you are just curious about the web basics of web-based technologies, I think this would be the right place to step into. One more thing like which is very essential as of now. Might be some of you are thinking that why this easy topic is for me or why we have to jump onto this, right? See, the very simple reason is some of the students, right, who are into, we can say, who would like to step into in this territory and this web designing. So they're just very curious about the basics of web designing, basis of web, basis of you can say HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? So that's why I just thought that why not to step into in this territory as well, right, for them. So in this video actually we will learn about one, what is web, another one is web designing, what is web designing means to us, then bit on your HTML, CSS and bit of JavaScript also. So it's complete hands-on guide actually, I would say, right? So let's start with the very first thing, that is, and one more thing, right? I'm not using any PPT as of now, right? So I'm just thought to why not to start working in this direction, right? Means directly onto the Notepad, right? So the very first thing is what is web, right? See, frankly speaking, there could be a lots of definition out there. If you Google it, right, then you'll find lots of very good definitions for the same, right? In short, I should say the World Wide Web is like a huge library of information accessible through internet. When you open a Google, Facebook, Amazon, you are using website on the web actually. So whatever you are doing it right over, even if you are scrolling through, you're searching for something over the Google, when you're looking for something in within your ChatGPT or Gemini, anything, right? So it's all together your web. So they are interconnected, right? That's the very first thing, right? Fine. Now further, when you talk about your might be you start thinking what is a website, right? So I should say each website is a combination of web pages, right? So that means when I'm going to club n number of pages, right, as a bunch, right, that would be called as to as a website. So www.google.com, even gmail.com, facebook.com, instagram.com, whatever. So even any official website of your company, right? So that is actually nothing else, it's a website, and where you will find lots of web pages, right? In short, when I say what is a web page, so I should say it's a single document. One web page is a single document, right? So just like a page of your book, right? And when it is when you have to think of that which particular language we are using for working on this particular web-based web page or web-based language called whatever, so then I should say it's certain lots of special languages we are using, right, that browser can understand, right? Now there comes another word called browser. You might think that what is a browser? See, browser, I should say it's browser is a special software, right, through which we can see our web pages, right? I'm sure Chrome you are aware of, Edge you are already aware of, Firefox, Opera. These are many softwares which are these are very special softwares which are meant for your browsing and all that, right? So you can go for any of these, right, softwares, right, to work on that, right? Now the very important stuff. So we are okay with web, we are okay with website. The very important stuff is next stuff is what is all about web designing, right? See, very simple. It's the process of creating how a website looks and works. So look and feel, layout, how it works. If within the page, if I'm having a button, when I'm clicking the button, it's moving towards some other page or other direction and all, right? Maybe it is asking for some credentials to be entered, or lots of other stuff, right? It's not just about colors, fonts, but also about the structure, like I said, layout and user experience as well. So the moment I've seen many websites where the moment I'm moving the cursor, some trail is like moving around, right, along with that, right? Maybe if you are having very graphical the gaming websites, you can see lots of look and feel, lots of user experiences you can check out there, right? Fine. So that is a very basic stuff, right? Now when it comes to what type of web language we should go for, right? So in that case, I should say, see, there could be lots of languages available in the market, like HTML, React, Node, PHP, ASP.NET, right, Java, right? So that is purely, I can say these are all lots of available languages, right? Fine. But if I talk about what is the very basic languages, right, which one should go for to get the basic understanding of your languages, so that one can develop web pages, then I would say these three things we should know about, right? Very important, right? First, we have to go for HTML, because it gives you the structure to the page layout. See, ultimately we need some skeleton, right? We need some structure. So that structure we can design, that is through your HTML, right? That is number one. Number two, that is your CSS, right? So we should go for CSS as well. So it gives you the styling, right, to the page, right? Any sort of styling. So when I'm looking for any sort of colors, I'm looking for font, I'm looking for something called layout and all that, look and feel, remember, look and feel. So that is all about I should go for your CSS. That is simple thing. JavaScript in a other way, I would say it's one of the most important part, right, of your web designing. Why? Web languages, right, territory, because it gives you interactivity. See, tell me one thing, when you are opening Google for the first time, Gmail, let's say you are about to create one account in your Gmail, right? So you have to definitely click on a particular button, create button or proceed or something like that. So how it is going on, right? What is the functionality? Which functionality you have implemented in that? Are you going to select a button? When you are going to select a drop down, is it performing some action or not? See, if it is so, it's all about your interactivity, right? So when any sort of interactions, right, whether it is font, whether it is form validations, whether it is like selecting the, remember, the moment you select country from one of the drop down available in any of the form, automatically next drop down of, let's say, cities, that gets filled according to the country. I've seen many times, I'm sure. So the moment you select India, so all the India related cities would be there in the second drop down. Once you select, let's say, Australia and your country drop down, so automatically Australia related cities available will be in the second drop down. It's all about that, right? So important piece is what? Interaction, right? So you can say it's very crystal. So when you are looking for, let's say, basic structure, let's say you don't want to get into styling, you don't want to get into any interactivity, go, no worries, you can go with HTML, simple. But on the other way, let's say if you're looking for something kind of tinge of, let's say, styling and all that, boss, you should use CSS, right? The last, that is JavaScript, right? Simple, where you need some sort of interactivity, right, or any sort of user interactions, right? But let me give you one more point. Sometimes people say, hey Hermeet, don't you think we can have something called automatic kind of mechanism there in the JavaScript also? See, obviously we can. So there is automatic events, automatic interactivity, and then there is user defined interactivity as well, right? It depends on, see, it depends on the requirement, right? Very frankly, right? So let's start with the very basic stuff first, right? So that means your HTML, right? Let me go with this HTML. See, if I talk about what is HTML, then I should say it is your hypertext markup language, right? That stands for H, your T, your M, and your L, right? So HTML, right? Hypertext markup language, right? Now the very important stuff is, what is HTML? See, I should say HTML is the basic language to design, to create the structure of a web page, right? And when it is saying, I remember when somebody is saying like, Harmeet, out of n number of language, do you feel HTML should be called as to be the basic language? Yes, exactly. Go for PHP, go for React, go for JSP, go for any other language. Guys, believe me, HTML is the basic one where it is coming across everywhere, right? So go for HTML for the basic structure, number one. Number two, now where to write this? Where to write down the code of VS Code, right? Where to write down the code for your HTML? See, very simple. You can use Notepad, you can use VS Code, you can use Sublime Text, any software of your choice, any software. Even these days you are having online HTML editors as well. Best thing. So means you are running out of some softwares and all that. You don't you can't install VS Code or any of these software. Notepad is everywhere, right? But still I'm just casually talking about this. Still you can go for HTML editors, right, where you have to code something on HTML and then you will get the output onto the, yes, exactly, onto the browser itself, right? Superb, right? Now let's go with the first thing, right? So let's say if I have to open a VS Code, right? Very simple thing, right? So you have to open Visual Studio Code on your machine, right? And frankly speaking, again I'm saying it's purely up to you. If you don't want to get into VS Code, so you can use plain HTML as well, right? But I'll suggest to go with VS Code, right? Simple. So very simple to use, very perfect to go for, right? So let's say we have to go with the first thing. So let's say file, new file. See, rather directly jumping out to new file, right, I would suggest to go with open folder, right? Create a folder of your choice, right? So let's say if I'm saying E drive, let's say HTML session, right? So let's say select folder. So you can see my folder name will come across over here. See, that's a good practice. So it's not recommended one, you can say, but I would say it would be really awesome if you go with this way. Open the folder. So right now I just created the folder. Next time you have to just open the folder. That's it, right? So that will give you directly onto that particular location where you have list of all the files, right? Simple. Let me close this. Let me create very basic stuff, right? Click new file. Now the best part of working with HTML is just you have to create the file by any name, but extension should be .html, right? So let's say I'm saying demo01.html. Simple, very simple thing. Fine. Now start your HTML with this. Now you might be surprised that what is this HTML and all that. See, this is a tag. This is a tag. Sorry. Now might be you will be surprised if you're looking for the first time, right? What is tag? See, tag is nothing. It's a starting and ending area. Starting and ending area. So that is a tag. So HTML is a tag. Similar, if I talk about, we have something called head tag. We have something called body tag. Now, very important stuff. Might be surprised with why I have placed head start and close, body start and close within HTML. See, that is a hierarchy. That is a hierarchy. See, frankly speaking, you remove this, fine. Start writing over here. Let's say this is my first demo. Fine. Simple file. Simple statements, right? Now, when I say this, then I would simply say, as you have already saved the created the file by the name of demo01.html, right? Now what is this? See, this circle symbol means the file is not saved. Let me press Ctrl S. So Ctrl S. See, it has been removed now. So this is the very best part, right, of VS Code, right? So I would say whenever you are working with the VS Code and you are not getting results, sometime it happens you forgot to save the file. So always double check. That is my personal request. Always double check what is going on. Fine. Number one. Number two. Now I removed HTML. I started with head tag, right? What is head? What is body? I'll come to the point, but let me run through this particular application directly, or the page directly, right? Now where I have saved this file, right? I've saved this file onto a particular location where within your I would say E drive, and that is over here, this thing, right? Now simply right click on this, right? Either you can double click, but I want to open this file within a specific browser. So I have lots of browsers over here depending on my requirement and all that. So let me open up with, let's say, Chrome. Now when I'm opening up this particular piece right over the Chrome, you can see very beautiful stuff that I'm getting the output, right? Then you might be surprised that, hey Hermes, if I'm already getting the output, then why HTML and all that, right? See, that is very interesting, right? And let me give you one more interesting example. I'm just saying select all, copy, paste, save, go back and say refresh. Wow, superb. Then might be you surprised that, Harmeet, what is this going on? See, let me clarify. See, your HTML browser is not as very strict on those kind of ruling and all that, right? The way we have React, PHP, your some of the languages as well, right? So there is fixed pattern, there is fixed specific coding standards, right? So in HTML it's not required, right? But let's talk about what is the basic piece of work that we should go for, right? Okay, now the very important stuff is whenever you are working with HTML, please do remember, always start your HTML and your HTML page with this HTML tag. So your page should carry this HTML tag. Why? That should be called as to be the root of the web page. Simple. Root of the web page. Please do remember this. Number one. Number two. Then what is head tag? See, head tag in reality, it contains the page metadata. Now might be surprised what is metadata. See, I'll tell you. I'm sure you must have heard of SEO. Now what is that SEO? Search engine optimization. Now how it works? See, I'm sure you must have heard that, hey, please do SEO for my website. What exactly it means? See, it means please design your website as per SEO so that search engines like Google, Bing, they can recognize your website easily. Very simple, right? So what I meant to say is, head tag is what? See, head tag contains metadata information like description, like keywords. I'm sure you guys are using keywords in your Instagram, right? Reels. Similarly, within YouTube, you must be using some exactly your tags. Similar, when I need to put up those keywords and all that, I can use those keywords kind of thing over here within this metadata as well, right? Exactly. Fine. Now, is it for this purpose only we'll have to use head tag? See, there is one more reason, that is called as to be as in title. So right now let me go with title. What is this title? See, title is all about the text you want to appear onto the browser. See, as of now it's showing this. Let me refresh this file. See, it's showing Hermes. So this is title. Super. So you can open up any website, right? So let me open with, let's say, my own company's website. See, Self-Learner Digital Business Training and Development in Delhi. Simple. So that is, I have put up that SEO, right? So that is the title I have given. So one of the vertical of your web page, right? So I think it's pretty clear now. HTML is the root element. It's a basic skeleton that should be there. See, if you are not giving, that is okay. Still my page was rendered. Render means putting up on the browser, right? But it is recommended to use HTML. See, we should go with the standard rather than declaring on our own, right? Frankly speaking. See, let's go with one more game, right? So let's say I say Hermeet and I'm closing with Hermeet. I'm saving it, going back to the browser for my web page. See, it's working. See, but the point is it Hermeet is a standard? No way. So what is standard? See, HTML is a standard one, right? So we should go with this tag, please, right? Do remember. So I believe head part is fine. Now let's come to the body part as well, right? See, body is very simple. So this body section contains the actual content you want to display onto the screen. Means this. See, what I want this message to be displayed onto the screen. So this is content. if I'll open up my website, so this is content, so this is completely, this is complete content, right? This is content actually. Now where I have placed this particular content, see, obviously that is onto the yes, body tag, that's it, right? So just do remember a couple of things. Number one, HTML should be defined within the web page, number one. Number two, please call it as to be as a root tag, fine. Number three, within HTML you should provide head as well as body, these two sections. You can call it as to be a section, that's very true, because head is what, is the area where you can provide metadata or kind of title, simple. But on the other hand, what is body? See, at the actual content, what you want to showcase, what you want to appear, what you want to display onto the web page, that's it, onto the browser, that's it, clear cut, fine. Now the further thing is, let's say you said this way, right? I'll just press enter, then I say, let's say there is something called h1. I don't talk about h1 as of now. Let me put something, let's say this is first, right? This is first, I just mentioned this is first, right? Let me do one more thing. I'll just copy this, paste this, let's say h2. Oh, what is this h1 h2, right? Okay, I'll see, I'll show it to you. Let's say first, second, I'm going to the browser back again, right? Sorry, this one, Chrome, opening this, closing this, the previous website, I'm refreshing the page. See, I hope it's getting fine. See, h1 h2 till h6, these are different levels of heading. So h1 is the very biggest one, kind of headline, subheading, so heading, subheading, or subheadline, whichever way you want to call it. But yes, that has to be your h1, starting with h1 and then it goes till h6, simple. Generally we should not write like this way. Why? Because they say we should write it like within p. Now what is p? See, p is for paragraph, very simple thing. It is recommended as per the standard, right, that whatever the page we are working with, any content, a plain content should be placed within paragraph tag, that's it, right? Simple stuff, fine. Let me save this. See, again the circle symbol is coming. Let me save this, let me go back to the browser, let me refresh. See how I'm just moving towards the browser, and this one, see, it's all tab, nothing special, right? You can do one thing as well, right? You can put up like this, you can have it like this, and you can have, if you feel so, right? So you can have it like this, and or just a window like this as well, right? It's purely up to you. I have seen many people who are doing like this. So if you are using double screen, purely up to you. So one screen you can have this, one screen you can have this editing as well, right? So it's pretty straightforward, nothing tricky. I hope it's pretty fine for all of us, right? As of now, it's very simple, very easy stuff we are working on, right? Nothing special, nothing tricky, very simple, fine. Now let's go for one step ahead, right? So this till now we are talking about HTML, the root tag, root element, or top head, or the toppest one, right? Then we have head tag, then we have body tag. Head, do remember always, that is for your basic metadata, your title and so on. Even for the inclusion of any script and or any additional file like JavaScript, like CSS, we generally use this head tag as well, right? We will talk about that later. Then we have something called body tag as well. The purpose of body tag, I already told you, it's for your content part, that's it, simple stuff, right? Perfect, right, great. Now let's start working on one step ahead, right? Now let me do something. I'll say, let's say table, right? Within that I'll just say, let's say tr, and within that let's say td. What is td, tr, table? I'll come to that point. Let me write first. Now first thing, right? Now what is table? See, table tag is the you can say as a kind of a statement, or kind of a mentioning for the browser that, hey, please create one table structure. See, what is table structure? You guys know it very well, right? What is table in real life? You know it very well, right? See, I'm not talking about the table chair and all that, right? But I'm talking about table in terms of what? Rows and columns. Yes, exactly, rows and columns. Perfect, right? Now when it comes to rows, so tr is referring to the rows. Super. TRR, rows, simple, right? Then further we have TD, that is what? Table data. Table data, I know there is something called TH as well. I'm sure someone of might be thinking that, hey Hamid, we do have TH for headers. I know. Wait for some time. But let me go with TD as of now. So TVD is for table data. So you can see it's very sophisticated. I'm defining in a easier way. What? Starting with table, nested with TR, nested with TD. Two TDs are there within this TR. Means what? Two columns are there. Very great. Very nice. Very nice. Let me copy this tr, let me paste over here, and let me say, let's say Rima, and let me say 22. Let me go with one more tr, or as I have already copied, so I can paste over here. Let's say Rajat, and let's say 22. But the point is, you feel that nothing is getting right over here. Hey, you haven't saved it, right? So let me save this, let me refresh this. It's appearing like this. Let me clarify. I'll tell you the way. The moment you make some changes will reflect back automatically over here. Don't worry. I'll come to that point later. Maybe in next series, next video, or maybe sometime else, right? But as of now, you can see one table structure would be appearing over here. What is 0? You can see by mistake I have placed 0 over here. Let me remove this, let me save, let me go back to refresh. That's it. But might be you have started thinking, hey Harmeet, you are saying table, but is it a table? See, you can check carefully, it is a table. Though I know it's not having any border, no worries. Let's give something called border equal to 1. Let me save this, let me go back, refresh. Wow, that is superb. So what is border? See, border, I should say, generally people call this border as to be as an attribute. Listen carefully, it's an attribute. So there are two things, right? One is tag, one is attribute. So body, head, title, HTML, H1, which are there in angular bracket, they are called as to be as tag or element. Sometimes people call it as to be as element. So HTML is an element, paragraph is an element, right? When we should call it as to be as an element, I'll tell you later on. But you can, as of now, you can call it as to be as what? As a tag. That's it. So what is a tag? See, very simple. So tag is a way through which I can design any HTML document. That's it. Fine. Very simple stuff, right? Now, further, what is this border? See, this border is actually means what? One outline of what we are designing. So what I'm designing? I'm designing this particular boxes, rows and columns, like that way. Fine. Now someone who were thinking about that, Harmeet, there is something called th. Very true, guys. So that is over here. Now what is th? I'm sure you are aware of. See, th is for header, and you will see very interesting stuff. Then when I say th over here, what it means? Wow, superb. Hats off to the browser. See, the moment you say th, automatically that row where you have these two ths, they are coming up in the bold style. They are coming in bold style. Very nice, right? So idea of table tag is, I'm sure it is to draw rows and column specifications. Fine, simple stuff. Number one. Number two, now I already told you what is border. Border is for this line, right? You can see, I can say, let's say 3, save, refresh. Oh, style has been changed, right? And that's great. Fine. Now let's go for one more attribute. So we have table border equal to 3. Let me try something over there in body. Is it I can use the similar style over here? Let me check with this. No, see, obviously it's not possible. Why? Let me clarify. See, we every person on this world, they have their own different attributes, right? For some of them they are same, but for some of them they are different. Similar here also. So body's tag is different with table tag, so I can't use the same attribute or over here also, right? So what should I do? Let me change, rather border equal to 3, let me say bg color equals to, let's say, yellow, this thing. So I'm saving it, going back on this. Oh, now great, now it's awesome. We started working towards the coloring part as well, right? Now if I'll remove this yellow, close this, say hash, right? And you can use any of the digits as well. Maybe if I'll say this number, might be surprise for you, but see, it has certain value. Now if you want to know what color I can use, I would suggest to go with, let's say, Google color hexa code. See, then we have this. So lots of color codes you can see over here, you can utilize, right? So you can, let's say if you want to use this, so copy this, you can go back to this one, save it, go back to your browser, back again. See, it is getting modified. Lots of websites are there, so it's not the one website only. You can scroll through some other website also, right? See, HTML color picker, HTML hex colors as well, right? So lots of stuff are there. So frankly speaking, what is the idea? Are we using CSS? Is it like that? No way. We are just utilizing the basic feature of HTML to design, to give the designing part, right, as well, right? So that means what is it? To certain extent HTML supports these kind of designing. That is what we want to say. The answer is yes, very true. I mean, HTML gives you a basic feature of implementing these kind of working as well, right? So that means when you are looking for basic functionality of coloring, you can utilize this concept very flawlessly. See, you used border equal to 1, right? What is that? Again the same stuff. Border equal to 1, that is again the same stuff. So what is the idea? See, the idea is to give you a plot that a plain HTML can also give you a flexibility of designing to certain extent. I'll come to the point that where we can use CSS. Just wait for some time. Right now, further. Now this is all about table. Now let me go with, let's say, img. Now there is one more tag called image. Short form is img, right? I can't say image, image. No, I can't do that, right? Because these are reserved keywords, right? img, html, h1, table, tr, th, td, these are reserved keywords, right? And we should use those reserved keywords, right? If remember, I modified HTML to Hermit, it was working. But believe me, you will be in trouble when you modify those pieces as per your own words, right? Because ultimately, we never use these kind of websites for my own system only. Definitely, what is the main purpose of learning web-based designing and all that, right? Obviously, ultimately, we need to create websites and all that for maybe for yourself, but majorly for our clients, right? So just do remember, try to be standardized. Very important work, right? Now I was talking about img, right? So img means whenever we need to add some image, I can use this image tag. Now the point is it we have some image with us? See, yeah, we can do, right? So let's do one thing. Let's go with some website. Let's say we have Pexels website is there. Let's search for anything, right? Whichever you feel it's very nice for us, right? So let's say this forest one. Let me download this, right? So that is being downloaded, or you can download to a particular specific size as well, right? Fine, purely up to you. Fine. Now it has been downloaded, so I can pick up that particular image, and I would suggest to put up the same image within the same location where we have created that folder called HTML session. See, it would be a good practice, right? Why? Because when you are working with a particular application, and let's say you placed HTML file in some location, CSS file in some location, images some location, then later when you are about to find something, you will be in trouble, right? So let's do one thing in a proper way. As we have added the file directly, it will coming over here as well, right? But I will suggest to create one folder called img or images. That could be another good choice, and click and drag the images within that particular folder, so you can see very nice, right? Now the point is, go on to this img src equal to, now the point is, see, Visual Studio Code is bestest editor right across. You know how come it is coming? I'll tell you. The moment I say double quote and control space bar, or without also you can try, you can see automatically it starts scanning which particular file you need to include. Do I need to include HTML? No sir. Double click on images, see, automatically it is coming like this. So select this, super. So you can see the entire path is coming onto this way. So you can see the path was of file name was very big, so it is appearing like this. Now very important, close the bracket as well, right? Close the bracket as well, right? Now there is a good point, right? When you save this, go back to this, see, this image is coming like this, very nice. But the point is, this image is very large, right? You can see it is coming properly. I'm not saying this, but it's very large. It's not I have to scroll down, scroll left, right, this, that. No boss, you should find some other way, right? You know what is that other way? I'll tell you. But before that, what is this src actually? It's an attribute. The way we have border, we have bg color, so similar we have something called src as well, right? So these are properties, these are attributes. Now let's talk about how we can take care of the size, right? Now just put up this space bar and just start writing one property called height. Let's say I'm saying 50, width, let's say I'm saying 50. Save it, go back to browser and refresh it. See, 50 by 50, now it is coming in square shape, right? As per your convenience, you can increase or decrease the size of this particular piece. See, you can use Photoshop as well. That might be a good choice, right? That at certain level, right? I have noticed many web designers, they are using these tools like Photoshop as well to resize the images, right? So number one, so 50 is pixel. You can increase the size, let's say 200 by 200 as well, so it will be appearing like this. See, very simple. Fine. So I believe image tag, img tag is okay with you. Height, width, src, these are the properties. These are the properties of this tag called, this element called img, right? Simple, great, super. Now let's talk about something better in the sense, let's say whatever be the paragraph right now I'm using, let's give some styling through some css, right? We'll come to that css in a different way, on a different video, but let me talk about css as of now in terms of just an outlining part, right? So why we need to use css, I already told you that whenever we need some sort of styling, some sort of any sort of style or enhancement in terms of look and feel, we should use css, right? Now as of now I will tell you couple of ways to implement CSS directly, right? Directly in the sense, there is one concept called inline CSS. See, inline means then and there, means when I'm writing paragraph over here itself, if let's say I'm saying style, I'm saying color colon, let's say blue, right? Then font size, let's say 20 pixel, and so on. Let me save this, let me refresh this. See, that is inline. Inline means when I'm writing down the any tag, then and there, if I'm using style, it is inline CSS. Do we have any other type of CSS? Yes, guys, yes. We have internal CSS, we have external CSS as well. So logically, three types of CSS implementations are there. One, inline, the way we just did this. Number two, internal. Let me tell you that also. Just give me some time. And then there is something on external CSS, wherein we write down the CSS part in a separate file, then we include that particular file within our HTML page. That's it. We'll come to that point, don't worry. We'll come to that point as well later, maybe on next videos also. Fine. So very simple stuff is that when I'm saying style this, you must have noticed one beautiful stuff. See, I can move around to any point. See, very nice, right? Perfect. I can click on particular color as well, and you can see automatically that color bandwidth is coming like this. Control S, Alt Tab, and then simply refresh. See, great. This is superb. Fine. This is inline. Now the point is, the person who knows about color, who knows about font size kind of part of your CSS, that person can do the magic quite early. So CSS itself is a language, boss. Itself is a different territory for styling. But frankly speaking, at least basic styling one should know, the way we did just now. Fine. Let's go one step more. Right. Now what is that? See, we change. You saw we changed the color like this, right? Okay. Fine. Now let me remove this. Control S. Refresh. Back to white or the without color page, right? Now let's do one thing. Let's use internal CSS to change the color of the page. That is another one, right? So let me go on to this, right? Enter this one. Then I'm using, let's say, style tag. I told you already. See, head tag is not only meant for metadata, it is meant for your title. And I already told you, whenever I need to use external files or some other CSS or some external CSS, we should use this kind of area called head tag. Fine. Now let's say within this style, let's write down CSS coding, right? What is that? Let's say body, right? Let's say body, and let's say within this background, see, very smart. Our VS Code is very smart, right? And use, let's say, any color. Let's say I'm saying green. Save this. Now let me refresh this page. Great. So you can see there are two ways to implement CSS. One is inline. When you are writing down the tag, you are start writing your CSS specification with the help of style attribute. Then there is another thing, right? That is internal CSS. What we have done just now is we write down some CSS specification. This is CSS specification, right? the CSS specification we have written within this style tag, right? Within style tag, which is available within head tag. Now how it is working, it's very simple. Body is associated with this body tag, that's why it's coming like that. Now let me change it with something else. Let's say if I'll say Harmeet. See, it's not working, obviously. So that means the moment browser scans this top to bottom, it starts thinking that there should be Harmeet out there. As it is not there, so nothing is happening. Let me undo. Let me save. Let me go back like this. I'm sure later you will use something called when I will tell you. Don't rush. As of now, let's keep it with the standard, with the basics only. Fine. So this is till now we talked about basics of CSS inclusion as well. Now let's include JavaScript as well, right, within the system. Right? Now, how? Very simple. Let's do one thing. Let's, on top of all, let's add one button. Let's say click here. Simple. Now when I do refresh, you can see one button is coming. Super. But nothing is happening when I'm clicking on that particular button. Nothing is happening, obviously. The point is it we have provided some activity on this particular button? Do we provide any user interaction within this button? No, boss. See, there comes the third person comes in the picture. Third person means apart from HTML and CSS, now there is a third person called JavaScript. Let's call JavaScript now. Now, what is the role of JavaScript? Just give me a minute, you will see, and then you will be very, very happy about that. So let me go with script tag. Fine. So start and the end of the script, right? Now within this we should, let's say I'm writing as of now, let's say simple function called call me. Now what is this call me, what is this and all that? So I would suggest we'll get the idea very soon, but as of now I would recommend to keep this in your mind that I have written something called function, call me, and so on. In short, what is function? So function is a set of statements in JavaScript with a particular name. So here I'm about to write certain statements and I'm giving these set of statements a name that is called as to visit call me. Now within this I'm going to use one method, one built-in function called alert that simply says, hey, you have clicked button. Simple, right? Now the point is I have written the function, I have created the button as well. Okay, that's superb. I have saved the file also. Let me refresh this. See, nothing is happening now. See, very simple reason. See, you are done with the button, you are done with the code or a script or a JavaScript code or a function available in this particular script section. But the point is, have you connected this button with this particular function? No way. Then boss, how we can trigger? Simple. So the point is we have to make a connect. We have to make a connect between this button as well as this function. Now how we can do that? See, there comes the point, another understanding called event handling. Now when I say on click equals to, and I'll say, let's say call me, sir, it's all about, ma'am, it's all about association between this button and this particular function. I hope you guys are getting my point. Very simple stuff as of now. See, I'm not rushing towards any hi-fi of JavaScript or hi-fi of your CSS, nothing like that. See, because my main agenda is some of the students, they wanted to step into web area, they wanted to step into web designing, and I am just right now sharing my basics thought of HTML, CSS and a JavaScript. That's it. See, nobody can be master within single day, with the single video. No one. For me also took time. For you guys, some of you guys also took time to understand some pieces of code. But as of now, what I suggest is, boss, very simple. Write down the button, provide the event called on click. Now what is on click? See, on click I told you already, it's an event. Now we are saying, boss, please link this event of this button with this particular function called call me. Now where is this function? Sir, ma'am, you define this function over here. Now I have saved this file, I'm refreshing the page, I'm clicking on the button. Wow, super, this is awesome. This is awesome. See, this is exactly the link between three stuff: HTML, CSS, JS. How you use that? You know it very well. You know it very well. And frankly speaking, we have not created any external file. Just HTML file is there. We are not using any external CSS, external JavaScript. No, boss, no, not at all. Because my intention as of now is to work within HTML only. That's it. So that basic sense at least we can get the idea. Is it fine? So what we have done so far, let me summarize. We talked about what is a web. I told you a collection, right, where we are working over here, working over the web. I mean, like working over the browser and all that. That is. So what is a website? So collection of web pages. What is a web page? See, the pages that are being designed or crafted by your HTML and some other language like PHP or JavaScript, Java, and many of the languages are there. ASP.NET as well, right? Many of the languages. React also, right? So what is HTML structure? I told you already. Was HTML structure should include your three things mainly. HTML tag as a root, then head, then body. What is your head tag? I clarified already that your head tag is all about for metadata, mainly meant for SEO. As of now, we are not using that SEO section and all that. I know. But for which purpose we have used head, you can see easily. One is for title part. Title, right? Remember, title. This title. Then inclusion of CSS, inline CSS, and then inclusion of kind of inline JavaScript also. So that is the purpose of head tag. Now what is body tag or body section? See the content. You can see whatever I am doing it over here, it's getting appearing over here. Is it my this part body tag is appearing out there? I mean this background color, this style function call me is appearing like this? No way, sir, not at all. It's not appearing like that. But the point is what? See the content that is there in the body tag. Fine. So body for content, head is for metadata, inline CSS, inline JavaScript. Simple. Fine. Why we should go for CSS? I told you, for styling, for user experience. Why we need to get into JavaScript? I told you, for providing any interaction, maybe automatic, maybe user defined. I will show you later how come without any clicking, without doing any stuff, this page will do some magic. Yes, we'll do that magic as well, right? Don't worry. That is automatic concept there in the JavaScript as well, right? But as of now, what we have done is user defined. When I click on that, it is triggering something. Now to work on this, what we have done is very easy stuff. We placed one button, I provided one event called on click, and then I associated this on click event of this button with this function called call me, which is written over here, right? There is one more interesting stuff you can see, right? Though it is already closing point, but still, see over here like this. And let me close this also. Let me save, let me refresh. When I'm clicking on button, it's triggering this. When I'm hitting this when I'm hitting this image, still it's coming like that. Fine, right? So you know how to create the web page by just having the extension of .html. I shared the best approach is we should create a separate folder called images, right? Spelling is fine, that is okay, right? Forget about the spelling and all that, because see, conceptually things should be done. Maybe I'm done something wrong over here, so don't take it other way, right? Logic, if you are okay with that, you can rename the folder with your name as well, right? Fine. So how we can do this is fine within this. And then I already told you what is heading tag, h1 till h6, what is paragraph tag, the basic one. We can apply the styling as well, like inline styling. Then we have something called table, then tr, table row, and table head, and table tr, again row, and then your td, that is called as to be the table data. Then last we have done something related to your img. I already told you what is this height, width, on click, border, on click, or earlier we have used something called border, your bg color. These all are something called attributes. Very true, these are attributes. Fine. So I think like this video at least will give you the base. It will give you the base of what we are about to project in terms of websites, web pages, and so on. But yes, integration between three things, three entities: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So thanks to all of you guys. Thanks for watching. And if you really like this video, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And feel free to leave a comment below to the video, right? Below to the section, right? And keep waiting for my next video in the same series, right? Fine. Thanks a lot. Thanks to all of you guys, right? Have a nice day.